Good morning. Today we will discuss about appeals and revision in land laws. So here section 49 speaks about appeal from original orders. So here based on the original orders appeal can be done. According to section 49, the appeals from original orders, here there is an hierarchy like from original order to the appellate order. Here it starts with revenue officer. So the first order is passed by the revenue officer. Based on the revenue officer, they can make an appeal, means the aggrieved party, either of the dispute, any party can make an appeal to the assistant commissioner. Based on the order passed by the assistant commissioner, then an appeal can be made to the deputy commissioner, or if the order is passed by the deputy commissioner, then that can be appealed to the regional commissioner. From regional commissioner to the survey officer below the rank of assistant director, and from survey officer below the rank of assistant director, they can make an appeal to the assistant director of land records. From assistant director of land records to joint director of land records, and from joint director of land records, they can make an appeal to the director of survey, settlement and land records, and finally from director of survey, settlement and land records, the tribunal. So appeal can be made to the tribunal. This is the hierarchy of the appeal from original orders. Like this, it starts from revenue officer, that is the lowest officer who can make an order or who can pass an order in the revenue land disputes, and the final authority is the tribunal. So like this it goes, the appeal. As we discussed that an appeal shall be made from the original orders. So once in the appellate tribunal or before the appellate authority, if an order is passed, then based on the order of the appellate authority, one more appeal can be made again from the first appeal, that is called second appeal. So here first originally an authority pass an order, based on the order we can go for the first appeal, and in the appellate authority they make an order, from that we can go for the second appeal. So again under the second appeal there is a hierarchy from which officer to higher authority we have to make the second appeal. Here section 50 speaks about second appeal. So again here it starts from assistant commissioner. So whatever the order made by the assistant commissioner in the first appeal, against that either of the party of the dispute can make a second appeal to the deputy commissioner, and again from if the order is passed by the deputy commissioner, they can make a second appeal to the assistant director for the settlement. If the order is made by the assistant director of settlement, then the second appeal can be made to the director of survey, settlement and land records. If the order is passed by director of survey, settlement and land records, then they can make a second appeal to the tribunal. So tribunal is the final authority to entertain the appeals, either it is a first appeal or a second appeal. But here in the second appeal, an order passed on second appeal shall be final. So no more appeal is lies in the land revenue dispute. So here the second appeal is the final. Whatever the order passed by the second appeal, that becomes final. So no more appeal can be made in these disputes. Section 51 speaks about the limitation of appeals. So here from the original order, the number of days is prescribed for the appeal. So in this case, section 51 speaks about limitation of appeal. So in the first appeal, after the expiry of 60 days from the date of the other order appealed against. So here the 60 days has to be wait to make an first appeal, and in the case of second appeal, after the expiry of 90 days from the date of the first appeal, so the appellate person has to be wait for this period. After the expiry of such dates, they can go for the appeal. In the first appeal from the original order, after the original order is passed, where 60 days has to be expired, and in the second appeal from the first appeal order is passed, again 90 days has to be expired. After that, the second appeal can be made. So here along with this, section 53, section 52, that is speaks about the limitation. Section 4, 5 and 12 of the Limitation Act 1963 is also applicable to the making appeals under the land revenue dispute. So according to the Limitation Act 1963, section 4, 5 and 12 is also applicable to make an appeal. Either it is a first appeal or a second appeal. Here section 53, copy of the order to accompany petition or appeal. Section 53 of the Act speaks about the copy of the order to accompany petition or appeal. So here, while in the first appeal or even in the second appeal, where the order passed by the authority, the certified copy of that authority should be included in along with the petition for the appeal, and that should be presented before the appellate authority. Here section 54 speaks about powers of appellate authority. The appellate authority may, for reason to be recorded in writing, either annul, reverse, modify or confirm order appealed from, or may direct the officer making the order by himself or by any of his subordinate officer to make further inquiry or to take additional evidence on such points as the appellate authority may specify. So here the appellate authority may annul or reverse or modify or confirm the appealed order, or the officer may direct the subordinate officer to get the fresh evidence or to record the fresh evidence or to collect the additional evidence as the case may be. So this is the power of the authority to make changes into the existing or whatever the additional things which is required for that particular dispute that can be collected. Even the oral or documentary evidence shall be collected by the appellate authority, and where the appellate authority requires any document to be produced or any witness to be examined to enable it to pronounce orders, so they can direct any person or authority to bring the document or witness before the authority, and they can get the evidence and documents examined for further clarification. And any substantial cause of appellate authority allows such evidence or documents to be produced or witness to be examined. Here the substantial cause of the appellate case or any question of fact which is required by the authority, they can make an order or direction to the other officer to produce such witness and examine further. So according to section 55, that is stay of execution orders. So here before the expiry of the time which is passed by the subordinate officer, if a stay order is required in that particular dispute, so still the expiry of the limitation period and stay of execution order can be made by the authority. Here the appellate authority may at any time direct that the execution of the order appealed from be stayed for such time as it may think fit, till the decision of the appeal, whichever is earlier, and may on sufficient cause being shown cancel or vary such order made directing stay. So till the final order is passed by the authority, the stay order will be followed by the both the parties of the dispute. So section 56 speaks about power of revision. So here revision means an order is passed by the authority. According to the order, either of the party is not satisfied with the order and they want to produce additional evidence or some of the point which is not looked over by the authority, and in such circumstances they can go for the revision. Here the tribunal, any revenue officer not inferior in rank of assistant commissioner and any survey officer not inferior in rank of a deputy director of land records or an assistant settlement officer in the respective departments may call for the examine the records of the inquiry or the proceedings of any subordinate officers under this act, and they can look into the matter and they can make a revision. Here the special deputy commissioner shall be deemed to be not subordinate to the deputy commissioner, and all revenue officers shall be deemed to be subordinate to the tribunal. So here, provided that no order shall be modified, annulled or reversed unless notice has been served on the parties interested and opportunity given to them of being heard. So here, before making any changes into the existing order, the authority should give a notice to the interested parties or the disputed parties to the dispute. Then after giving an opportunity of heard, then they can make any deemed changes into the order. So here any revenue officer or survey officer referred to in subsection 1 may exercise power under this section in respect of any order against which no appeal has been preferred under the chapter at any time within 3 years from the date of the order sought to be revised. Then section 57 speaks about orders expressly made final under the act. So section 57 speaks that whenever in this act it is declared that an order of the revenue officer shall be final, such expression shall be deemed to mean that no appeal lies from such order. The tribunal alone shall be competent to modify, annul or reverse any such order under the provision of section 56. So here once expressly the order is made by the revenue officer, then again revision cannot be done by any other authority. Only the tribunal is having the right and power to make revision into the existing matter, and according to section 56 of the act, only the tribunal can make any changes, that is either modification or annul or reverse of the order. Section 58 speaks about amendment of orders. So here amendments of order means any clerical or arithmetical mistakes in order arising therein from any accidental slip or omission may at any time be corrected by the revenue officer passing the order or by any of his successor in office, either on his own motion or on an application of any of the parties to the concern. Here only few things can be corrected by the authority, that is the clerical and arithmetical mistakes can be done which is by oversight or by a mistake happened, either accidentally or omission is happened. Either the authority can make corrections on its own motion or by the application of either party to the dispute can make a correction. Here either the revenue officer can make a correction or his successor can make such corrections, and while doing the corrections even without giving a reasonable opportunity to the parties to be heard. So here no need of giving opportunity to the persons again hearing, so the authority can make corrections into the clerical and arithmetic mistakes. Next, section 59 speaks about orders not reversible by reason of error or irregularity. So here no order passed by a revenue officer shall be reversed or altered in appeal or revision on account of an error, omission or irregularity in the summons, notice, proclamation, warrant or order or any other proceedings under the Act unless such error, omission or irregularity has in fact occasioned a failure of justice. So here orders cannot be reversed by any authority for the mistake or irregularities done under the summons, notice, proclamations, warrant or other proceedings under the Act. So it may be error or a omission or irregularity in fact occasion a failure of justice, so no corrections can be made here. These are the things that is discussed under this appeal and revision under the land laws. So today we'll discuss about the land. Land means what? Whether it is a building or a earth or any other property is called as a land. According to section 67 of Karnataka Land Revenue Act 1964, many things are considered as property and land. So here section 67 speaks about public road, etc., and all lands which are not the property of others belonging to the government. Here belonging to the government means it is the state government. Here many things are mentioned that is considered as the land, like all public roads, streets, lanes and paths, bridges, ditches, dikes and fences, and or beside the same, the bed of the sea and of harbors and creeks below high water mark, and of rivers, streams, nulls, lakes and tanks, and all canals and water course, and all standing and flowing waters, and all land which wherever situated which are not the property of individual or of aggregate of person legally capable of holding the property, and except in so far as the rights of such person may be established. If these things whatever I have mentioned, if it is not belongs to any individual person, then that is considered as the property of the state government. So if a individual doesn't have any right or ownership on these properties, then that will be considered as the property of the state government according to section 67. And here not land means not the only earth, along with the earth everything included as land of the government according to section 67. And here the district commissioner and the deputy commissioner is having a power to inquire into the matter. If the property is not belongs to any individual, then it is belongs to the government. If there is certain dispute or inquiry regarding that a public property is misused by an individual, then this deputy commissioner can conduct a formal inquiry, and he can pass an order and deciding the claim by the individual or by the state government is having the power to do so. And section 68 speaks about extinction of rights of public and individuals in or over any public road, street, lane or path not required for use of public. So here according to section 68, as I told that many property is considered as the land. Here for example, as I told, the public road, street, lane and path are not required for the use of public. So whichever the property, either it is a road, path, lane or a water resource or lake, whatever it is, if it is not used by the public and if it is kept as it is in any place or wherever it is there without any kind of use by any public or any other person, so such property or land will be taken back by the government. Means that can be considered as a extinguished property, means that place can be closed by fence or by any other thing, and an order can be passed that these land or properties are um, taken by the government, and no more use can be done by any public, and he can make a fence or any other thing where the public cannot enter or cannot use that particular property. Here the deputy commissioner is having power to do so by giving a public notification if it is not used by any public for any public purposes and development. Such thing can be eliminated or that will be taken back, and that same property may be used for any other public development or project or any other purposes. So the thing which is not used by public will be taken over by the government, or the usage will be stopped. For example, imagine there is a lake, and that lake water is used for drinking and other purposes by the village people surrounded by the lake. After certain time, according to this development and what we get today, like Kaveri water and bore water etc. from the corporation, so the people stop using that lake for as a drinking water or any other purposes. So under such circumstances, the government can make use of that lake for some other purposes. Instead of drinking water, they can do it like they can do park surrounded by the lake for the people to walk, or even that lake water can be cleaned and it can be used for a boating or some other purposes, like whatever that was used earlier, and in between the public stop that particular usage, then the government can utilize that property or land for some other purposes, like this the roads or bridges or path or lanes, lakes, anything which is not used by the public, that can be eliminated by the government, means state government, and it can be used for any other development purposes for the government and for the public. And here it can be done by the deputy commissioner by issuing a public notice, and after receiving any objection, or if not so, he can decide according to the authority given to him. Section 69 speaks about disposal of land or other property belonging to the state government. Here, according to section 69, disposal of land or other property belonging to the state government under section 67. So here, wherever the property which is there with the government and it is not used for any purpose by the government, or it is not used for any development or any other project by the government, under such circumstances, by issuing a public notice by the deputy commissioner and the assistant commissioner or in charge of this taluk tahsildars, any person under whom the properties lies, either it is lies with the tahsildar or with the assistant commissioner or with the district commissioner, according to the jurisdiction of that particular place by the state government, they can issue a notice to the public, and they can dispose the property for some other purposes like agriculture, industry, or any public utility service, or construction of any kind of building. It may be a public office, or it may be for a residential purpose, or it may be for a industrial purposes. So like where the property or the land is not utilized for any other purposes, such property can be disposed by the government, that is state government, according to section 69 for other development projects. Government. So here section 69 capital A, disposal of lands or other property belonging to the state government by public auction. So here where the state government is owning the land which is not used for any particular purposes, then the state government may authorize the officer to dispose the property. According to section 67, what are the property which is owned by the state government? Here the deputy commissioner is the authorized officer, or authorized by him under any order. The authority may sell the property by the action, and here after the notification that is confirmed the sale under subsection 1 on the expiration of 30 days from the date of sale of the immovable property. So from the date of the sale, within after expiry of 30 days, the sale become a complete sale if there is no objection or any other claims by any person, then that will be considered as the complete sale. And for the purpose of this section, valuable land means those lands which, if action, shall fetch values for above the normal price. So here the sale means here it is actually they do the public action. So here whatever the highest price that is quoted by the individual, for that person the property will be sold in the way of monetary consideration, and that amount will be goes to the government treasury. And provided that heritage site and building or other property shall not be disposed under this section. Only the normal land and property can be disposed, not the heritage site and buildings can be disposed according to section 69 capital A. And section 70 speaks about right to mines and mineral products to vest in government. So here, as you may be heard that mines, many kind of mines that like gold mine, copper or silver or any mines which is owned by the government. So here even if the property lies with the individual, then the government comes to know that there is mines or minerals in that particular property, then that property will be taken by the government under a certain notification, or they will acquire the property, then that will be held in the government and government will do the mining purposes in that particular property. So here government for the time being the right to mines, minerals and mineral products shall vest absolutely in the state government, and the state government shall, subject to the previous provisions of the Mines and Minerals and Regulation and Development Act 1957, Central Act number 67 of 1957. So according to the Mines and Minerals Regulation and Development Act of 1957, the government will acquire the land from the individual if it is belongs to an individual, and the property lies in the government, and the mine and mineral products will be done in the name of government by the state government and also by the central government. As here I will give a example that you may be heard that the many disputes were going on in Tamil Nadu, like the central government want to take the methane oil from the agricultural land, and the farmers and the public are protesting against that project. So here the land is belongs to many individual farmers, they do agriculture, but here the government comes to know, the central government comes to know that there is a mineral in that particular property. So they want to acquire all the property which is there in that particular district or particular locality. So here the state government and central government trying to do this, and even the public are protesting against it. This is a live example for where the property belongs to individual, where it is come to know by the government that there can be done mines and other things. So the government will acquire the land for the purpose of mining, and always the mine and mining products will be done in the name of government only. This is absolutely in the name of government, and only the government will do such kind of projects. Section 71, lands may be assigned for special purposes. So here lands may be assigned for special purposes, and when assigned they shall not be otherwise used without sanction of the deputy commissioner. Here certain lands in that particular place, either a district or village or other places, the lands are reserved for some special purposes. For that kind of land cannot be used or utilized by any public or any other person. So here I'll give certain examples, like you may be seen this lakes along with the park, or the lake is used for the walking and other purposes, lake beds, everything. So that is owned by the government and reserved by the government for the lake development, that is water and underground water reservation projects like that. So the government is hold the land and lake beds, so where they can make some arrangement for the people to walk, or a garden like kids and students may play, or it is used of like some social purposes. So these kind of property cannot be used by any public or any individual for other purposes. Only the specific purpose, if it is done by playing and walking, only that thing can be done in that particular. And like that, for many purposes the land will be reserved by the government. Even in the village also they'll reserve the land. For example, reserving the land like we can call it as a Gomala land. So only for the grazing of cattle and other animals the land is reserved. So in that particular lands, agricultural purpose or any other industrial or other purposes cannot be done. Even construction cannot be done under such properties. Only that is kept and used for grazing the cattle and other animals in the village. Then forest property, the property is reserved for the forest, so such thing cannot be utilized for any other purposes or other public purposes. So here public purposes means it may be a public building or a public garden or public reservoir or like any kind of public building. For that particular purpose the property is reserved, so that such kind of property cannot be utilized or cannot be sold by any authority or any other person. And this is done according to the with or without the sanction of the Deputy Commissioner according to section 29. So the public the property which is reserved for special purposes for the public, that will be reserved only for that particular purposes, and it cannot be used for any other purposes according to section 71. Section 72, that is speaks about regulation of use of pasturage. Section 72 speaks about regulation of use of pasturage. So here the right of grazing on free pasturage lands shall extend only to the cattle of the village or villages to which such land belong or have been assigned, and shall be regulated by rules and orders made generally or in any particular instance by the state government. The decision of the Deputy Commissioner in any case of disputes as to the side right of grazing shall be final. Here, where in the village and other places the land which is kept reserved for grazing on free for the cows and other cattle, such will be used for only that particular purpose and in that particular local village, and it is confirmed by the government, reserved for only the grazing of by the animals. And here if any kind of dispute arise in that particular land, and that will be the dispute will be decided and solved by the Deputy Commissioner, and finally the purpose of grazing that property or the land will be finalized. So any other construction or any agricultural things cannot be done in that particular property according to this section 72, which is reserved for free grazing for the animals. Section 73, recovery of value of natural products unauthorizedly removed from certain lands. So here the property which is belongs to the government, and unauthorizedly any person moves, cut down or taken away the property from that place. Here it is considered as natural products. It may be trees or timber or any kind of property which is situated in that reserved place, and that is kept for the special purposes in that particular land. Even the wild animals also considered as property of the government. So under such circumstances, if any person without any authorized license or permission, if he take away that property from the reserved place unauthorizedly, then such property can be recoverable by the government, and they can collect the penalty or impose the fine on such person, and the unauthorized removal will be recovered by the government, and even criminal proceedings may be initiated against the person. So here the reserved land or the properties lies with the government, and without permission of the government, if any person try or take any valuable property from such place, that will be recovered by the government, and penalty will be imposed, even criminal proceedings will be initiated against such person or persons, and the decision of the Tahsildar will be the final, as the product shall be the cost of the product that is finalized by the Tahsildar according to the value of the government norms. Section 73 speaks about right to trees in village to which survey settlement has not been introduced. So here in every village, as we all know that many trees and a forest or many forests will be there. Here in the village, where the trees in the village and those trees are not belongings to any private individual or any individual, such trees will be fall on the government hands. So the trees which is not owned by any individual, such trees will be surveyed by the government, and government will give the number to those trees, and it is preserved, and it is maintained the account of number of trees and other things by the government. Here it is done by the authority of the government. Here the standing timber or any other trees in that particular place, either reserved or even which is not reserved places. So if the tree is not belongs to any individual, then that will be belongs to the government. Even you may be seeing while moving on the highways, on the trees besides the road, a number will be given, like each and every tree which is beside the roads on the highways, number will be given. So this is the best example that the trees are surveyed by the state government, and those trees are lies in the hands of government, and that trees cannot be cut down by any individual, or it cannot be misused by any individual, only the government having the power to do so. And this belongs to the authority according to the local jurisdiction limit, like Tahsildar, Assistant Commissioner or District Commissioner. So these trees will lying in the hands of the state government, and it is considered as the state government property. Section 75 speaks about right to trees in villages to which survey settlement has been introduced. So here according to section 74, if the survey is not done, then the government have to make a survey and a number is given, and that has to be maintained by the government. And here according to section 75, in any village or portion of a village, if the original survey settlement has been completed before the commencement of this act, the right of the state government to all trees in any land except trees reserved by the state government or by any survey officer, whether by express order made at or about the time of such settlement or by notification made and published at or any time after such settlement shall be deemed to have been considered to the occupant. So here the government, once according to section 75, the survey settlement has been done and they made the survey according to the trees which is there in the public, which is there in the place, that is the reserved place by the government, and which is belongs to the individual property, then that will be left over by the individual, and other trees will be surveyed and given a number, and that will be lies with the state government. Section 76 speaks about trees and forest vesting in the government. So here the section 76 speaks that trees and forest vesting in the government. Here the right of all trees specifically reserved under the provisions of section 75, and all trees, brushwood, jungle or other natural products, whatever and wherever growing, except is so for the same may be the property of any person or of aggregate of persons capable of holding property vest in the government, and such trees, brushwood, jungle and other natural products shall be preserved or disposed of in such manner as the state government may from time to time direct. Here certain trees which is considered as reserved trees or reserved forest, so such kind of trees wherever and whenever it grows, it belongs to the government, and holding and disposing of such kind of the trees is held with the government. No any individual can sell or cut down and dispose of such property unless a government order or license or permission should be got from the authority. So here whenever and wherever this forest timber grows, that belongs to the state government, and state government got the power to dispose of such trees. Section 77, roadside trees. So here section 77 speaks about roadside trees. Roadside trees means here, as we all may be seen in the highways, that both the sides of the highways and even the state highways and national highways, the trees will be there. So these trees planted and reserved and maintained by the government either side of the road, and that trees are belongs to the government and vest in the state government. So these trees can be cut down and utilized if any fruits or any other usable things which produced by that tree, the government has to make an order how to use, or it has to be sold through the auction. And even for cutting down of the trees which is either sides of the roads, that is belongs to the government, and prior permission or even the Tahsildar has to permit to do such thing. Here Tahsildar is having the power to maintain such trees, and those trees either sides of the road, that is planted by the government and maintained by the government. So here the Tahsildar is having absolute power under the state government to maintain such roadside trees. Section 78, recovery of value of trees etc. unauthorizedly appropriated. So section 78 speaks about recovery of value of trees etc. unauthorizedly appropriated. Here any person who shall unauthorizedly fell and appropriate any tree or any portion thereof, or remove from his holdings any other natural products, whether of the like description or not, which is the property of government, shall be liable to the state government for the value thereof, which shall be recoverable from him as an arrear of land revenue, in addition to any penalty to which he may be liable under the provisions of this act. So here any such trees are in the either in the roadside, or it may be in a individual person's land. If the trees is cut down, or the whole tree is cut down, or a portion of the tree is cut down, and the product of the tree or any produce of the tree is disposed of without the permission, prior permission of the authority, or unauthorizedly misused such thing, then that thing will be recovered from the individual by the Tahsildar under the order of state government, or even a penalty may be imposed to such persons, and arrears of land revenue will be collected from that person, and even the criminal proceedings can be initiated against such person by the state government. Section 79 speaks about regulation of supply of firewood and timber for domestic and other purposes. So here section 79 speaks about regulation of supply of firewood and timber for domestic and other purposes. So here the government may allow the villagers or any other class of person to cut down firewood or timber for domestic and other purposes and in any land which has been set apart under section 79 for forest reserve subject to such privileges. So here the person who's living in the village can use certain trees and they can cut down certain trees or plants for the use of firewood for the domestic purposes and not for the commercial purposes. That is allowed by the government according to section 71 of the act, which is considered as reserve forest or forest place. Even that place certain extension is allowed to the public to cut down the firewood and use for the domestic purposes. Here the deputy commissioner of that particular person or the jurisdiction, his order will be the final, and he is the officer who can give permission and who can allow the public to cut out the fire or up to what extension the firewood can be cut and whether it is a tree or a plant or dry plants, it has to be made clear by the district commissioner. So this is the overall thing which is relating to the lands.